there's two things that he's bottom 5 at in the NBA in coaching. One is adjustments. He just won't do it. He has no idea what that means. And he comes into a game with the game plan, and no matter what is going on the God's green earth, he is not deviating from that plan. Number 2, he's tied to old guys for whatever reason. And even though you can see it when you're watching, there's one guy who solidified this, and this was Tyrese Maxey, who literally came out and said it on a platform and just said, he basically stunted my growth. He was playing guys, it was like the first guy was the 36, 37-year-old, the shooter. And basically he was playing him over Maxey because Maxey was a rookie, but Maxey's just way better. And just would not get him on the floor until the guy got hurt. We talk about this in other sports of my other teams. But he stunts a young player's growth. Doc Rivers, okay? Doc Rivers was the coach of my favorite team, Philadelphia 76ers, and now has moved on to the Milwaukee Bucks. And new team, same old Doc.
I beg to differ.
Baron Davis is saying
we
said this is worse.
We have never seen a Doc this bad. No, I mean I'm not saying that lightly.
Yeah.
Like literally they were first place in the Eastern Conference when they fired Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
And the record is horrific. Like through the end of last year and the beginning of this year's, what is it? 1-5, 1-6.
It's gotten really bad, and you got Baron Davis saying that the Doc Rivers team is a beatable team. I don't care how much talent they got.
Do you think he's just soft?
I don't know. Here's the deal. When I used to coach at Winter Park High School, and I coached his oldest son, Jeremiah, and Doc was coaching the Celtics at the time, but he would periodically come down to Florida. And I'm not gonna lie, like he's one of the most impressive guys I've had the pleasure of meeting. Like when he's talking, it's like it's captivating. He just drops knowledge, and he's got like a wisdom about him. There was two instances in particular. One time we were just sitting around a gym, and he was explaining like basically NBA team hierarchy. And it was just like he was basically saying, like on every team you have like 2 or 3 guys that are allowed to kind of do whatever the hell they want on offense. And everybody else, you're either shooting open jump shots or like layup dunks.
Yeah.
And it's like
the Warriors.
It's like you have like and every good team is structured that way.
Absolutely.
And the bad teams, like they're not clear on that, or they don't have the guys that could do that at a high level. And like it was way more to it, but like I was kind of like mesmerized, and it like made such an impression. That was literally almost 18 years ago that I had this conversation. I still remember it quite well. And then the other thing is we had the guy I coached, we were there for 2 years. The first year we were okay. We went into the summer and we're getting ready to start the second season. We expected to be pretty good, but we had some tension among the guys. His son was among the tension points. We had like a parent-player get-together at somebody's house. And we're talking to him, and he goes, "Hey, can I just talk to the team? Would you guys be okay with that?" We're like, "Sure, why not?"
Right.
You're coach of the freaking Celtics, And so like he pulled everybody upstairs, and he just kind of attack the group, but like in a tactical, smooth way, where he confronted his son, he confronted the guys that kind of were on the other side of the beef, and he kind of used other guys that were like kind of like lesser players minutes wise, but like he used them to kind of like make points. It was like masterful. Like you're watching him work this, group of 10, 11 guys, and you're just like, shit, this almost feels like you're in a movie and somebody's like breaking something down. So I've always been impressed, but I think that you get in a situation in life where like your own history wears you down. And he had obviously the title in 2008, but he's had so much playoff failure that I think his personal baggage becomes the team's baggage, and he's just not in a good place anymore.
You think it's a respect thing?
That they don't respect him?
Yeah.
I think
they respect him.
They respect him, but I think it's not in the same way that it might have been earlier in the career.
Well, let me explain, because I'm on the opposite side of the pig. I think he's a shit coach. And Jeremiah got mad at me one time.
I did not say he was a good coach or a shit coach.
I know. He knows basketball. That's the point you're basically trying to make. And his son, I put that and I said it while he was coaching 76ers. I got pissed, and Jeremiah got mad at me. And but that's the truth of it all. He's there's two things that he's bottom 5 at in the NBA in coaching. One is adjustments. He just won't do it. He has no idea what that means. And he comes into a game with the game plan, and no matter what is going on the God's green earth, he is not deviating from that plan. If it works, great. But if anything happens, he's not deviating from that. That's number one. Number two, he's tied to old guys for whatever reason. And even though you can see it when you're watching, there's one guy who solidified this, and this was Tyrese Maxey, who literally came out and said it on a platform and just said, he basically stunted my growth. He just, we had he was playing guys, it was like the first guy was the 37-year-old, the shooter. The name is on the tip of my tongue.
PJ Tucker?
Pause. No, it was a guard. It's a guard. Oh. And basically he was playing him over Maxey because Maxey was a rookie, but Maxey's just way better. And just would not get him on the floor until the guy got hurt. We talk about this in other sports of my other teams. But he stunts a young player's growth that is better than the veteran guy, but he just loves his veterans. And what that does is that makes your team slower. That's why Doc Rivers' teams are never top 15 in pace, because he loves older, slower guys.
Let me ask you guys a question. It's definitely for you as a coach. See, as a fan, when it gets to this level, I always wonder how much influence does the coach's game plan have on guys when it's like you know who you're facing, you know what they're capable of. Why? Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
I think I do. It's you look at it and it's like the NBA players, they know.
It's like a scapegoat to me.
They know everybody. They play against everybody. They're familiar.
And a lot of these guys came up AAU together. Nowadays, you know what I mean?
I think like professional coaching and high school coaching are completely different crafts. In professional or high school coaching, starting smaller, you're like teaching.
Right.
A lot of teaching, a lot of how do we do this, why are we doing this, this and that. When you get to the high college and pro level, it's a more collaborative experience. Like you're going to, you're not just going to sit in your office, watch a bunch of video, come out to everyone and say, here's the plan. You're going to be like, you're going to be talking to guys like, your Kevin Garnett's or your Joel Embiid's and those guys and being like, hey, whatever, we got the Celtics tomorrow here, here's a couple thoughts I have. What are you thinking? This and that, and you're going to kind of collaborate with your top guys to do that. I think the role of the head coach, though, is you have to be a good partner and create a narrative and a positive environment. Because where these guys get killed is they lose the faith of the top player or two, and then they're done.
Yep.
And so you really got to be like a people manager at a high level to keep those bigger guys engaged and on the same plan with you. And it's a give and take. You got to kind of accede to certain things that they're going to want to do at times, and then know and have the relationship that when you need to kind of step on something and have it your way, you can do that and you'll get a response.
Right.
And it's a real give and take. To me, it's a complicated art to coach at that level.
Yeah, and also sometimes the players do know, but a lot of times it should be the coach's job to make certain adjustments. Like for example, and this wasn't Doc Rivers. This was a coach before him. It was Bud. But Jimmy Butler was destroying Milwaukee in a playoff series, and Giannis never guarded him. And Giannis took it upon himself after the series was over. And was like, I probably should have guarded him instead of keeping Chris on him. But as the coach, you're watching from the side. You have to say,
Why
Giannis,
didn't you make that call?
Giannis, you get him.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving this up to the players. Like that's,
But I still in that dynamic, because there's going to be there's going to be moments where like coaching a guy like LeBron will has probably said many times, it's like you'll be in a game or situation and he's guarding Bubba, but you're hurting him, and he's just going to go to the sideline or just point at you from the side and go, I'm getting him.
Yeah.
And then you let that go.
Yeah.
Because and from my perspective as a coach, when somebody calls for something, they're invested. They're going to be committed. Like the worst feeling you have as a coach is when you're kind of drawing up something or you're given an instruction or an idea to do, and you just can feel
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah,
not
nobody's buying that.
interested.
Yeah.
No, they don't trust it. And that's that thing. And one of the things, I can't remember which person told me this though. Oh no, it was Mike McDaniels, the Dolphins football coach. He's like, cuz he's a Mike McDaniels.
I love that guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's really cool, but he's not like a player.
Right.
And so he doesn't come at it like Doc might, is like, hey, I'd been in your shoes or whatever. He has to come at it a different way. And in one of the interviews I saw with him, he's like, the first thing I have to do is convince a professional player that I can help him make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, I got to be able to give him something, a technique, a something that's going to make him money. And if I do that, then he's going to buy into me.
Right.
But if I'm trying to do stuff that's not helping him, I never get the credibility. I never get the buy-in, and I'm done with
It's
that
a
guy.
value thing at that point.
That's it. You have to bring value to the table, or what role are you doing there?
Got it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, another thing that's not necessarily his fault. So you got Damian. It's not his fault at all. Damian Lillard is on this team here. So I think that. Oh man, I lost money on that bet. All right, so Giannis and the Bucks front office bears blame for this Damian Lillard move.
Yeah.
Another move that Pink and I, again, from the beginning, we said it just has a low chance of working. It didn't see it working. But offensively, Dame is having a good year, but the thing isn't offensively, is how much they lost, defensively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give you a quick example of that. So, for example, right now, Damian Lillard is averaging 28, basically 27.6 and 7 assists. You shooting 40% from three. You step back and say, "Damn, that's a good season." Damian's having, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's having a good season. But it's not. It's not just that. It's every point guard that they're going against is having career fucking nights because Dame cannot move on defense. You have Darius Garland in the last game. Darius Garland goes for 40 points. You know what I mean? Darius Garland is a solid point guard. He's not a 40-point per game guy.
But you could just look at Dame Lillard, like, move. Like, and I'm not even talking in full game. You watch him walk from the bench to the court. He doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a fluid, athletic person. And that's one of those things that, like, age does to everybody. But what you, like, as you get older and you lose kind of natural energy, natural flexibility, you kind of hone in on, like, the technical things that you can do very comfortably. Your shooting, your dribble moves to get to your shot. You can lock those in, like unbelievably precise. But it's the fluidity, which is more the defensive end, where you're getting it, you're going one direction, you're recovering to another, you're whatever. That he doesn't have that. I mean, he's kind of like a parked car.
Yeah.
He's like,
Seriously.
sit in the corner, shoot.
Yeah, that's it.
Just don't even run down the court.